You guys know I'm turning my Halloween yard haunt into a Nightmare Before Christmas holiday display, and one of the most iconic Nightmare Before Christmas props is the monster wreath. So let me show you how I made it. I had all these leftover pool noodles from the Dollar Tree that I had bought for Halloween and never used, so I decided to use a pool noodle as the base of my wreath. This is a really affordable option. All you gotta do is attach the ends with some duct tape. Then I grabbed a can of green paint that I had laying around and just gave it a quick cover up so that you couldn't see any purple through the garland after I got the garland attached. Now, if you look at the monster wreath in the Haunted Mansion, it is completely made of holly just like this, which is great because as far as Christmas garlands go, holly is one of the most affordable ones you can get. The best price I have found is at Michael's for $7. I do have the link in the description. To attach the garland to that pool noodle, I just used some zip ties. I ended up using 2 full garlands because I wanted this to be really, really full. Now, all of the wreaths and garlands in the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay at the Haunted Mansion are so cool and so unique. They just combine elements from both Christmas and Halloween. Cranberries, grapes and raspberries, pumpkins, little orange and red and purple sprays. There's even black vines wrapped around them. Little twigs, and if you look closely, you can even see some spiders. So I went to Hobby Lobby and just picked up whatever I could find on sale that sort of looked the part, and I wound up with what you see here. And if you don't feel like going to the store to hunt all of these down, no worries. Check the link in the description. I have all the products linked there. You're gonna need 2 extra strands of garland because the monster wreath has 4 tentacles. And so what I did was I just looped the extra garland through some of the zip ties that were already on the wreath. And I just cut the bottom arms to be a little bit longer than the top arms. Next, I dug through my scrap foam pile, which is rather large, to find pieces that I could carve teeth and eyes out of. So these are all 1-inch pieces of foam. I used my hot wire to carve the basic shape, and then I got out my sander and I smoothed them down so they were nice and round. The first pass with the sander, I used 100 grit sandpaper, and then I went back over it with 220 grit sandpaper. It's always a good idea to dry fit before you start painting or gluing. That way you can make adjustments if you need to. So I painted these with multiple layers. First, I did a base coat of like this peachy color because I wanted the teeth to have a peach tan undertone. Then I went over that with a coat of white, and this is just like a warm white leftover interior house paint that I had left over from another project. I really like using interior house paint on foam because it just provides the best one coat coverage. The next 2 coats were a watered down really dark gray and then a watered down brown, and I just dry brushed them from the base up towards the point of the tooth just to create some shading and dimension. Once that layer was dry, I misted each tooth down with some water, and then I took a light yellow and painted from the top down, and then a dark yellow and went from the base up so that in the middle they kind of blended together. I watched a really great tutorial from the Wicked Makers on making monster teeth, and I used those paint techniques here, and it turned out really, really good. I used a similar technique to create some dimension on the eyes. First, I started with a dark yellow in the middle of the eye. Then I blended in a lighter yellow around the edge of the eye. Then I went in with like a lime green kind of a color, and I painted around the base and then blended that with the light yellow. So I just hot glued the eyeballs right onto the holly leaves, and I stuck a couple of metal pins through the eyeball and into the pool noodle so that it would be just a little bit more secure. So first I tried attaching the teeth while the wreath was face up and realized very quickly that that was probably not the best way to do it. So I flipped the wreath over and then started attaching the teeth right to the pool noodle using some hot glue. If your glue gets really, really hot, blow on it for a couple of seconds before you stick it to the pool noodle, because the pool noodle will melt if the glue is too hot. As I was fitting each of the teeth, I cut the base so that it was the right length and the right angle, because you kind of want the teeth to stick forward a little bit and not back. Like, you want them to be angled so that they can be seen through all those leaves. And here was the finished product. I kind of realized after the fact that the teeth and the eyes are not even at all, but that is okay because I pulled off a couple of the teeth and it evened right on up. It looked a little bit better anyway like this. It had too many teeth at first. This was a really fun, relatively easy project. I cannot wait to get this guy hung on the house. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, give it a like and leave a comment. And if you end up making a monster wreath of your own after watching this tutorial, please tag me. I'd love to see your version.